to be reminding them, because most people, when they see us training, they think we are training the youth to love the president. No, the president
you have a point there.
The president has an idea to say that you train the young ones to really love their country. Like any good parent in the home, a good parent always will say, how will I leave my children? A bad parent will always say, they will cater for them. So the president looks at the country and looks at the youth as the leaders of tomorrow. So if you don't prepare them well now, then Uganda will be no more. So he gave a message. One, the president asked us to always remind the students in schools is to love the academics and strive to excel academically. Love their studies and also strive to excel academically. Because Uganda requires people, quality people. And he tells us to always remind those children. And that's why you see when they are training, we have topics we give them. In one of the topic, the first topic we give them is Introduction to Patriotism Studies. And under this, we cover now the definition of patriotism. Then we tell them why to be patriotic. So he reminds them to love their studies. And while they are at school, they must work hard to excel academically. Then he also reminds them, the youth, that for those who are Christians, they should read the Bible. The Muslims read the Quran. That when you read these two holy books, they bring you closer to God. So in one way, we are trying to remind our children to be God-fearing. Because you see, when you are near God, God always guides. Then he also tells us to remind them about hard work while at school and at home. That's why you see when they train, we encourage them when they get back home to help their parents. Like me, personally speaking, I do not remember any single day when my mother at home could cook food when I'm there, even wash plate.
Wow.
That's how they nurtured us. Even when I was at university, whenever I would get home, mom could not cook food or wash plates when I'm there. So this is what we are reminding the children. And once you do that, automatically you attract blessings from your parents. Because children are looked at as a blessing to the parents. But today children are being looked at as a curse. Why? Because most of them are rebelling their parents. They hate work, and above all they like quality life. So President tells us to remind the children to be hardworking. Then he also reminds us to tell the young ones in schools to avoid premarital sex, the sex prayed before marriage. Because you know our president is a God-fearing man, and he says sex, according to the creation story, God created sex purposely for production of children, and it's for married people. So we keep on telling our children in schools not to indulge into such when they are still young, because once they get there, they will be destroyed, and Uganda will not be there. So he says we should remind them to concentrate on academics. Then at the right time, then after finishing university, they have gotten employment, then they can now choose rightful partners and they produce the children.
But where is actually carried from? Because when what I remember is we were only doing the action part of it. We were not taught, as you're saying. Is it that the mobilization is a little bit poor in certain schools? They do not mobilize so that you can see whether the information is carried out.
Yeah, you are right, because you see, we have been having a challenge with the Ugandans possibly. There are those who think whatever is initiated with our president is not good for society. But as a leader for Uganda, is the one who bears the good ideology and is good strategy for the people in Uganda, more so the youth. So as you are saying, since we initiated this, since it was launched in 2009, not all schools embraced. Still within us, whatever we are doing is decolonization of our thinking, the minds. So most people, even in our schools, we have head teachers who still rebel this program. They feel it's political, they feel it's not good for the Ugandans, so you find them rebelling. But for Vigil, at least, we have tried to bring head teachers on board. Like there were 39. So in other words, we scored almost 99%. You see that? So it implies that most people have now come on board and they are seeing the program. Because you see, when you look at the challenges of Uganda, like corruption, tribalism, the theft and all that, you are seeing people how they are behaving in government. It's all about the character in the people, how they were nurtured. Okay? So if this program took root at the time when you got independence, Uganda would have been a better place. But remember, all this has gone until 2009. That's when the president says, no, we have to begin thinking about the youth. Let's prepare the youth so that tomorrow we shall have good doctors, we have good engineers, good ministers. You see, those who will be having the feel for a Ugandan, where you have shame that in the case they have given you money to make a road for Ugandans, you don't eat the money since you are serving the Ugandans. So all this is nurturing the young ones so that they grow up when they are responsible for their nation. So what we are doing today in Uganda, like I gave you example, when you go to Korea, they tell us that Korea, South Korea, which is helping Uganda today, for them they reached a level in 1962, the time we got independence here. For them, they realized that people need to work, people need to sacrifice, people need to volunteer for the good of the nation. So at that time they had started their patriotism. That's why they have moved far. Look at China. China has a population of 1.6 billion people. As many as they are, what's making them move is patriotism.